Digital sucks is the theme of NEXT17. Do you agree?
I absolutely agree. I mean, I love the provocation that it puts in the room. And if I think about what matters to me and what matters to Mark, who spoke with me on our topic, and us at Fjord, to me it's the perfect strapline, because it's not about digital, what we do today. It's really about people, it's about culture, and digital is just a means.
You are a strong believer in design, so why do you prefer design over consulting or engineering?
That's a fascinating question, and I actually would say it's not over, it's just my starting point, and the work that we at Fjord do is intrinsically interlinked with technology as a means to ultimately drive change. What we do nowadays very much is about listening to people, using empathy to really get to the core of what's behind either a challenge that an organization has internally. So we are consulting, but we're using design and design thinking and putting people first to understand really what's in their hearts and in what's in their minds in order to create a better context for them, a better environment, a better culture, a better city, a better society. So we drive change through design, and therefore we don't really use the word consulting.
I think a recurring theme of the last 2 days was that at the end we will talk about voice and voice as a subject of design. To me, I think that's it's a bit strange, because when I think of design, I always think Photoshop. Okay, I know there's more, way more than pictures to design. But how do you deal with voice as a designer?
So first of all, I think it's really important for designers nowadays to, more so than ever, to have a very strong personal point of view and bring that point of view with you wherever we go, to a client conversation, or just what designers do in their everyday life and in their world around them. Secondly, to me, I've been practicing as a designer for the last 20 plus years. Design has grown up from being spelled with a small d to being designed with a capital D. And what has come along with that is the definition and the impact we can have as a designer is much broader. Never so much than nowadays have people from many different disciplines, from the content side, from the craft side, from the visual side, from the technology side, all come together in order to create something or leave a place behind better than it was before. So voice, what's the tone of voice of my organization? What's the tone of voice of my brand? Or really specifically down to the detail, kill lorem ipsum. You need to, as a designer, have something to say, and you really need to care about the content in order to package it or present it or structure it in the right form. Personally, I've never separated content and voice from form, but as an industry, not all of us have cared equally from the very, very early days on.
If you go back to the digital sucks theme, do you think that product designers are responsible for the current state of affairs?
Are product designers responsible for the current state of affairs? I mean, everything that is around us, the industry, which has many designers, we have participated and we have contributed to. I would less look at, are we responsible for what we have around us? I'm much more focused on what can we do as designers to not be comfortable with the status quo, but ultimately put our passion, our hearts and minds at current status is never good enough. How can I do it better? And how can I ultimately build a relationship with the end, with people out there or with our clients to get out of the mindset of a project and really think projects are never finished. We need to continually listen so we iterate and improve. And therefore, if you have that mindset, and especially your client has that mindset, the current state is only going to improve because that's what we set out at the beginning to do.
We are talking on the second day of this event, NEXT17. What are your key takeaways so far?
I mean, my key takeaways are Hamburg seems to be a fantastic city for this. I have to say, this is my first Next, and we only arrived this morning. I like the context around the location of Next. Reeperbahn, the fact that the music festival is outside. We certainly could say there is sadly or thankfully, maybe a clash of cultures that we're experiencing around us. I actually like that the location, the Tivoli, pretty much spills out right into normal life. So there's definitely a bit of people who are deeply immersed in digital, or digital sucks, and people for whom digital just might pass by. So I think the location is great. The international voices and the conversations I've had over lunch are fascinating. Matthias Schrader has created, I think, an event that tries to provoke. And I think this year's title, Digital Sucks, very much gives an invitation towards, let's not just say what is accepted, but let's also actually challenge the convention, which was part of the talk about voice, to intentionally go as far as, what if we participate as designers in a world that may only be about voices and about sound and less about visuals?